Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the dark side of Libra, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I'll look at, as far as the dark side of Libra goes, well, I think Libra being ruled by Venus, they could be very excessively enamored with beauty and their appearance. There's nothing really that wrong with wanting to be beautiful, but I think sometimes you have some Libras where they just really pay so much attention to it to a point where they don't have to, they can go a little bit overboard with trying to do so and really hung up on the appearances. Libras can also be in their worst expression or net really strong negative manifestation, what have you, be superficial and be looking at really the outside of a person and seeing all this physical beauty, and sometimes they may overlook the inner beauty of a person. I don't think most Libras are like that, but there are some I see where in some isolated cases who can be like this. And another thing, as far as the dark side of Libra, can be a very strong ambivalence and indecision. They may really take a long time sometimes to make up their mind. Because they want to look at the pros and cons of a situation, and they could go back and forth for a long time because of this. And a lot of times when let's say they have a couple mutual friends get into an argument, they can be very good mediators, but at the same time, they have like such a often such a no, I'm not going to take any sides policy, where sometimes you just have to be honest and say who's actually wrong and who's actually right. A lot of this is attributed to the fact that Libras don't really like confrontation. They could be very averse to that. They really don't like combative or contentious situations. Libras may also have such a strong emphasis on peace. They could look at reach for peace at any price, and really it could be a situation where they just move somewhere where it could actually be a desolate area and not have many people around. And in some isolated cases, yes, Libras are generally very people oriented, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying in some cases, due to that strong need for that peace, they could often go to very strong really strong ends in order to attain this. Now, also, Libras can also be about ingratiation. They may want to get with a group of people just to maybe move up some kind of social ladder. They do this often. They could do this to meet their own ambitions, their own ends, just to sometimes improve their stature in life, getting with the right people just for those reasons, and in order maybe just to simply become more popular. Being popular could figure very prominently with Libra people. And the thing about Libras too is that given the fact that they are so relationship oriented, I think another dark side or strong negative expression of this sign could be very well connected with the fact they often have to need to want to do something with somebody. It could be, let's say, a YouTube video, for example, like doing a collaboration video, there's nothing wrong with that, but they might feel that they need to do almost anything with another person when they could really just do the job themselves. And when I talk about a collaboration video on YouTube, for example, I don't mean just like one here and there. I mean, they might feel like this need, if they're going to do something, it would have to be in twos with another person consistently. And there's nothing wrong with this, but it doesn't always have to be done that way. People can do a lot of things by themselves, which they don't necessarily need the assistance or a connection with another person in a particular project or what have you. And another thing with Libra too is that you look at this sign And Libra is about relationships, and they are often very good at being mediators, about reconciliation and compromise, but they could also be relationship disruptors, is what I call them, when they really are used in their when Libra uses their relationship oriented side of them in a very negative expression. Libras can bring people together easily, but they could also separate them too. They could be very persuasive. They could tell two people that are having a relationship, they could say that each one said something derogatory about them. They could say it in a way where they could sound very convincing. This is often, if they do this, it could be because one of those people maybe left them and went to another significant other, and they may be angry that that person moved on. So a lot of times it's something relationship oriented. Keep in mind that Aries falls on the 7th house cusp of Libra, so even though Libra is generally very passive and peaceful, they generally are not going to react in a situation with a lot of anger or volatility. They could do so if it's over, say, a relationship breakup, if someone wants to leave them, or it could just simply come at, they could direct this at somebody that would be, say, a significant other, or somebody that's in some kind of partnership situation, could even be a business partnership situation. This is where the angry side of Libra can come out, and it's really can be very shocking and alarming because Libra is not exactly notorious for displaying any kind of anger or angry outbursts. So those are some things to look at. And another thing too is that sometimes Libra will use their charm as a subterfuge or facade to get what they want. Libras are generally very charming, and a lot of times this is real. This is their persona coming out. But other times they could just put on this charm in order to get somebody, give someone more incentive to do what they want for them. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the dark side of Libra, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the dark side of Scorpio. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel, and secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.